Hi, I'm Lily, I'm the Student Union President, and before we break up for Christmas, I'd really like to share with you some of the highlights of the last 6 months of my term in office. One of my main objectives was about officer accountability. I thought it was really important that students held officers accountable and made sure they were doing the things that mattered to students. Now you can follow the officers on Twitter, so you can find out on a day-to-day basis what they're doing. They're updating the Facebook website with their key projects and progress on those every month. You're also watching these video blogs monthly which officers are updating. There's now the opportunity to hold officers accountable within the forums, so students can ask in those forums what the officers have been doing and how they've been doing it for students. And we've also for the first time wrote in Libreville Press, the student newspaper, what we've been up to and how our first term in office has been. We're looking forward to working with the local radio station as well to also get our message out across to all students, and we've successfully secured an interactive student email which goes out to all students to tell students what we're doing and how we're doing it for them. Another one of my big objectives was to get value for money out of NUS. NUS is the National Union of Students, and they're there to represent the voice of students nationally. It's really important that they're representing the voice of Liverpool Student Union students. So when we delivered on our bursary campaign, where we saw over 1,400 students sign a postcard to Vince Cable, there we saw NUS produce it on a briefing paper which was shared across nationally, showing that it was a campaign that they fully supported and were keen to work with us on and make sure that it was recognised on a national level. Also, we do lots of things here that are good practice and new practice, such as our forums and Darren's Hall Rep and Community Rep scheme. These are now being recognised as NUS as good practice, and we're going across the country doing presentations. Only Jess tomorrow is going to do a presentation about the work she's done with Interfaith Forum, so we're really leading on a national level and making sure we're shouting about it. I was also involved in lobbying the university for the last 12 months for better prayer room provision for students, and the current prayer room facilities didn't meet the needs of our students, and in January we'll see the opening of 3 new multi-faith spaces opened across all 3 campuses, which is a real positive and a real win for LSU. I was also involved in lobbying property services for the Iron Marsh meeting space. There we were very keen to make sure that the community that lived in halls were able to access this space and it had all the facilities that they needed. That included Sky Television, computers put into place, but also just comfy seating so that they could go up there and relax. And that was something that's just been put into place after LSU pointed out that there was no community area or space for students to come and meet other students. I think for me, I spent most of my time in office lobbying and working with the university to make sure that the student experience hasn't been affected by course closures. Course closures have had a massive impact on all students here at John Moores University, and it's vital that we're getting the message out that their student experience shouldn't be affected and that their course should be run down properly and effectively. For me, when we saw the response of all LSU students, but students across Merseyside, with over 600 students going to London to campaign against cuts in higher education, and also the amount of students that have just got to the street in Liverpool and been involved in the local protest just shows how many students actually care about the cuts in higher education and understand how they're going to affect them. The activist training days that we've put on have also been able to support the students that are really keen and fired up to make sure that the student union voice is heard across both here in Liverpool but also on a national level. And I think that all those students that have been involved and engaged in those peaceful protests have represented Liverpool students fantastically and should continue the fight because it's only just begun. Finally, the other 2 things that I've been working on is the VC recruitment. We're going to be seeing a new Vice-Chancellor come into role for the next academic year. LSU have been involved in those conversations, have been engaged in making sure that we're involved in writing the recruitment criteria, but also by meeting the recruitment consultants. We've also been involved in discussions about tuition fees and if they were to be raised, what students would expect for the money that they are expected to pay. These are all conversations that are open in dialogue and are still continuous, but I'll keep you updated through my monthly blogs. Lastly, I'd like you to keep an eye open for our feedback campaign that's going to be hitting you in January. It's about how you use your feedback and why and how you use it to support your assessment. So look out for us in the libraries, but most of all, have a lovely Christmas. Thank you very much.